she can't explain it. Not with logic, not with trends, and definitely not with modern tech. While others chase electric horsepower, digital dashboards, and touch screens, she keeps coming back here, to the quiet hum of a cassette radio, the soft red glow of analog dials, and the oddly futuristic inventions buried in 90s engineering. Something about 90s cars pulls her in. Not just the nostalgia, but the mystery. It's as if these machines were hiding secrets, features so ahead of their time, most people today don't even know they existed.
Back then, engineers weren't building cars to impress TikTok. They were experimenting, trying weird, genius, sometimes ridiculous things, long before the world was ready. And now she's on a mission to uncover the forgotten innovations of the 90s, to bring back the features you never knew existed, and to prove that the past might just have been smarter than we remember. So buckle up, because in the next chapter, we begin unwrapping these hidden treasures, starting with how 90s cars were already talking to their drivers, long before Siri was even born.
Drive 80 yards, then turn left. Turn left, then turn right. Turn left.
Wait, was that a 90s car talking? Oh yes, long before smartphones and GPS apps, some luxury cars were already guiding their drivers, literally speaking directions out loud.
Turn right, then turn left.
The 1995 Lexus LS 400, for example, came with one of the earliest voice navigation systems, stored on CD-ROMs. Each disc covered a region or country, and if you wanted to drive somewhere new, you had to swap the disc.
It sounds primitive today, but back then it was magic. You could type your destination into a small screen, and your car would talk you there.
Even BMW joined the game. The 7 Series and 5 Series offered navigation systems that looked like something from a sci-fi lab, part computer, part luxury. And Japan? They went even further. Toyota, Honda, and Nissan were building navigation systems that worked entirely offline, calculating routes with no internet, no satellite connection, just pure algorithmic logic and map data stored locally.
It was the birth of digital intelligence in cars, years before we ever said, "Hey Siri."
Before Bluetooth, before iPhones, before the word hands-free meant anything, there was this. The built-in car phone, the ultimate 90s power symbol. Back then, if your car had a phone, you weren't just driving, you were commanding. You could call your office, check your stocks, or, let's be honest, call your friends just to say, "Guess where I'm calling from?"
These weren't cheap toys. A factory-installed phone could add thousands to the price tag, and the call rates? Painful. But the feeling? Pure luxury.
Manufacturers like Mercedes-Benz, BMW, and Lexus offered their own factory systems. Even Volvo and Saab joined in, because being able to talk while driving felt like something from the future. And in Japan, it was the future. Some high-end models from Toyota and Nissan featured integrated digital phones, voice dialing, and illuminated keypads built right into the center armrest, decades before Apple CarPlay ever thought of syncing your contacts.
She could feel it. Every curve, every bump. The car was alive beneath her, adjusting, reacting, thinking. But this wasn't a modern-day supercar. This was the 1990s. And somehow, these cars already knew how to adapt. This was adaptive suspension, decades before it became mainstream. The Mitsubishi Galant VR4,
Toyota Soarer, Nissan Skyline GTR, even some Citroën models all had systems that could automatically change how the car felt on the road.
Hit the sport button and the suspension would stiffen, tightening up for corners. Switch to comfort and it softened, floating over potholes like silk. The car used sensors to read speed, steering angle, and body movement, adjusting the shocks on the fly. This was the start of something we now take for granted: smart, reactive driving.
In an era of cassette players and flip phones, engineers were literally teaching cars how to think. In Citroën, they took it even further. Their hydractive suspension used pressurized fluid and computer logic to predict how the car should respond before the driver even felt the change. It was elegant, over-engineered, and totally brilliant.
To her, it wasn't just technology. It was poetry in motion, a mechanical intuition that made the car feel human. She didn't just drive it, she trusted it.
Before fighter jets inspired Teslas and Corvettes to project holograms on their windshields, the 90s had already done it, quietly, brilliantly. It started here, the Pontiac Grand Prix in 1989. A glowing green number appeared on the windshield, showing your speed so you could keep your eyes on the road. No distractions, no glancing down, just you in the future, floating ahead.
For drivers, it wasn't just cool, it was intimate. Like the car was whispering secrets directly into their vision. And that green glow, it had personality. It flickered, it faded. Sometimes it looked like it came from another world. To her, that faint projection wasn't technology, it was connection. A symbol that the car wasn't behind her, it was with her.
No app, no proximity sensors, just one click and a tiny spark of 90s magic. Before smartphones and smart locks, before we could unlock a car with a fingerprint, keyless entry quietly arrived in the 90s. It began as a luxury feature found on models like the Audi, Mercedes S-Class, Lexus LS400, and Cadillac Seville. A wireless transmitter inside the fob sent a coded infrared signal to the car, and if it matched, the doors opened like magic. It wasn't about convenience, it was about feeling important. You didn't have to fumble with keys, you just clicked and the car obeyed. To her, that sound, the soft clunk of unlocking doors, meant freedom. It was a ritual, a moment when the car recognized her. It wasn't just a button, it was trust. Before airbags became standard, before cars beeped at you to buckle up, the 90s had their own strange solution: the automatic seatbelt. In the early 90s, US safety laws required cars to have passive restraint systems, meaning even if you forgot, your car would buckle you in. So engineers thought, why not make the seatbelt move by itself? And they did. Cars like the Toyota Camry, Mazda 626, Honda Accord, and even the Nissan 240SX came with these motorized belts. They'd slide up and down the doorframe every time you opened or closed the door, like some robotic butler trying to keep you safe. At first, people loved it. It felt futuristic, your car caring about you. But then, the magic wore off. The motors jammed, the belts got stuck. Sometimes they choked you before you even started the engine. Drivers began to hate them. By the mid-90s, airbags took over and the automatic seatbelt quietly disappeared, a forgotten relic of a weirdly optimistic era. To her, it's not a gimmick. It's a reminder of a time when engineers truly believed they could automate safety, when cars tried to protect you, whether you asked for it or not. Before touchscreens and climate zones, before massaging seats became mainstream, there was this: a seat that remembered you. In the 90s, luxury cars started to learn your preferences. Seat position, mirrors, even steering wheel height, stored in memory and restored with one button press.
the Mercedes S-Class, Lexus LS400, BMW 7 Series, even the Cadillac DeVille, they could all remember who you were and where you sat. For families sharing cars, this was revolutionary. No more fighting over who left the seat too far back. The car adapted, not you. And then came warmth. The Saab 9000, Volvo 850, and Audi A8 offered heated seats that turned every cold morning into a moment of calm. Some even had automatic climate-linked activation. If it was cold enough outside, your seat simply started heating when you did. She didn't touch a thing. The car simply knew. Before smart became a buzzword, before cars had radar or cameras, some 90s machines could already sense their surroundings. This little dot? That's the rain sensor, an optical marvel that detected moisture on the glass using infrared light and told the wipers exactly when to move and how fast. First seen in cars like the BMW 7 Series, E38, Mercedes S-Class, and Lexus GS, it turned a simple convenience into something almost magical. And then came automatic headlights. A sensor hidden on the dash read the light around you, and when the world dimmed, your car lit up. No switches, no thinking, just awareness. It was subtle, but powerful. For the first time, a car wasn't just responding to you, it was responding to the world. Before touchscreens, before 360-degree views, before beeping sensors and AI parking assistants, there was this, a tiny black and white eye, hidden in the rear of a 90s car. This was one of the world's first production cars to offer a reverse camera. Japan led the way, with models like the Toyota Soarer, Nissan Sima, and later the Infiniti Q45, experimenting with onboard video systems. In 1991, Toyota's Electro Multi-Vision display wasn't just for navigation. It could switch to a rear-view feed when reversing, decades before it became a global safety requirement. The image was grainy, the lens was clunky, but it worked. It was technology ahead of its time, a glimpse of the modern world hiding in analog form. Imagine no Bluetooth, no smartphones, yet your 90s coupe could already see behind itself. For most drivers, it was a gimmick, a party trick, but for her, it was something deeper. You've probably heard of front-wheel steering, maybe even all-wheel drive. But in the 90s, a few visionary engineers thought, why not let the rear wheels join the party too? The Honda Prelude 4WS, Mitsubishi Galant VR4, and Mazda 626 were among the first production cars that could literally think with their back end. At low speeds, the rear wheels turned in the opposite direction of the front, tightening your turning circle for city driving and parking. At high speeds, they turned in the same direction, giving incredible stability on winding roads and sharp lane changes. This wasn't just a gimmick. It made the Prelude feel like it was dancing on rails. And while today's supercars like the Porsche 911 and some Mercedes models boast about their rear steering, Honda did it 30 years ago and did it brilliantly. That's all for today's journey through the forgotten features of the 90s. Thanks for watching. And if you love discovering hidden car tech and stories from the past, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss what's coming next.